primary business issue in India, especially in the real estate sector, is that it's highly unorganized. So any package for real estate that you do buy off the shelf has its own inherent issues. Our legacy system was prone to compromise, where people could mischievously edit the rates and hence cause lakhs, that's many times crores of rupees of loss to our company. We were looking for an enterprise application which was de facto standard across the world, having the best practices across different industries. SAP is a very old company and it has the best clients, the who's who of business in India and across the world use SAP. So we know for a fact that SAP works. Primary benefit is that people trust the system more than people themselves, and at the end of the day, in a company, the processes is what determines the outcome. It's not the people. People are the driving force to it. Systems are such that if people keep changing, your company continues to run, which also is a major factor in the real estate market, considering that there is a 30 to 40% attrition rate. So if you don't have proper systems in place, the next person will not know what he's taking up and how to take that forward. So since we have all the requisite projects and the customers now in the system, anybody who looks at the system is able to get a clear understanding of where we stand. The basic reason why we bought a core ERP package is to ensure that our customer data is not tampered with, which previously did take place, and we did lose amounts ranging from crores of rupees. So an ROI study is not justified, considering that by putting this, you know for a fact you have saved that money, and you have ensured a system which is not easily compromisable. In SAP, we are now doing automatic bank reconciliations, where the statements are downloaded, put into the system, and then the checks written and checks received are cleared automatically. So that itself has dropped the burden on the accounts department, which manually used to do that in Excel. So, from a team of 5 to 10 people, that's gone down to 2 or 3, and that too on data entry operator levels instead of manager or above levels. So that itself is a very key benefit. Similarly, when the transfers used to take place, there was a very tedious process where there were multiple levels of checks and balances that took place. Now that we have scanned the customer files on the system, the entire data available right there and in real time. So when a transfer does take place, now the process is greatly shortened. And even internal controls are put into place that internal auditors are also able to see the system, and they can certify that, yes, this transfer is genuine and it can be processed further. In terms of projects, we have now monitored our inventory costs and how we are buying steel and RMC. Those are the two materials that we buy on our own account. The rest is all service orders. So we are now able to do an assessment that if we are building 2 towers in the same project of the same characteristic, what is the cost of each tower? Which makes a lot of sense to us, because if one tower would cost you, let's say, 10 crores, the other tower cannot cost you 20 crores. Because there has to be a correlation, whether steel prices doubled or RMC prices double or something happens. So those things can be monitored, not when they are over, which is usually the case, but on day-to-day basis or even on quarterly basis, not yearly basis. So it's live data, it's there, it's easily recognizable, and through simple reports, you're able to see that. The specific challenge specifically was the management of the transfer process. That's essentially the business that we are in. I mean, even though it doesn't cost us anything to do a transfer, because the original buyer, that rate is always maintained. But that process is important for the industry because it does take place, and how do you monitor the system and how do you ensure it is happening in the right way? So that business process being put into the system actually was the toughest part. It did require a lot of programming. It did require a lot of re-engineering, rethinking from ground zero how we are to do it. And to put controls, we also had to re-engineer some processes. But we are using the core system as it is. We've just built programs which have more controls in it. So the core system has never been modified, and it's still working. Everybody now is saying, oh, give me more from SAP. Now we are talking not just automated bank reconciliation, we are talking about direct statement upload into the SAP system using MT940 format, which is standard banking format. Now we are talking about implementing CRM, where a customer call is recorded and their customer details are available in the system, and then they can be edited. I mean, let's say somebody calls and says, I want to change my address. That can be done directly into the system. That's something we are looking at. Now we are looking to expose the SAP system to our customers, to our brokers, as well as to our employees. Customers essentially would call up a company to find out what their account is like, whether interest has been charged, whether it was genuine or not, whether some check has bounced or check has been received, when it was received. Those are primarily the questions that people ask. So we are taking it to the next step. We are trying to introduce e-commerce on the website itself. So if you want, you can make an online payment using a direct bank transfer and doing that online. And for brokers as well, see, brokers require a lot of monitoring. They want to monitor their customers because their brokerage payments are dependent on the customer payments. So they want to have a look at that. They want to monitor their brokerage payouts as well, and their tax information and other things. And another step we are taking is business warehousing, where we have already implemented that, and we are now using that data to do analytics on how our company is actually running. So we can get a third-party view from our system itself. I mean, if we talk about FICO, we now relate FICO directly to our finance team. We talk about MM, we relate that now to the materials team and people who are doing those kind of things. Projects team, then we talk about people who are doing budgeting, that's project systems. So we have now related our modules directly with our business. So that's on a lighter note what we do within our company. But we do trust SAP in delivering the latest and greatest technologies out there, and we do monitor as much forums as we can. And believe me, it's a huge community out there which runs SAP, and it's almost impossible to keep track of it. But we try to do whatever we can to ensure that the latest SAP processes are in place.